Every year I go on a trail ride with my horses. This year I had planned to ride on my own for 4 days. I've been to the Shannon region. I've explored part of the River Shannon from Bannagher all the way down to Putumna and parts of Tipperary down here. This region is pretty much in the middle of Ireland, between the two biggest Irish lakes, Lough Derg and Lough Ray, and I rode through counties Tipperary, Offaly and Galway. I took Flora and Henry again, but this year Henry was the pack horse and I rode on Flora. She also carried some light gear behind her saddle. It's always a challenge to only pack the minimum, but not leave out any essentials. This is what it boiled down to. Still a lot. I expected to mostly ride on tarmac roads this year, so I asked my farrier Eamon to use back shoes with pins on them to stop the horses from slipping too much on the smooth, hard roads. My starting point was Cloughjordan in County Tipperary. I drove the van there with my horses in it. We have friends in the Eco village there, and they kindly put me and the horses up for the night. One day it would be interesting to spend more time in Cloughjordan Eco village and the community farm that is attached to it, maybe as part of a future film project. After a rather chilly night, we got up early to get ready to hit the road.
Morning, lads. Do you have a nice night? Hello. Hey, Flora. Hi. Big day today. I'll give you breakfast.
So I had to switch maps. Hang on, 98. And then on past the Pike, lunch in Carrick, and on across the Little Brosna River and on to Bannagher. We stopped in Losma, just 4 kilometres from Bannagher, for the night.
Oh, there's Helen. Look.
Good morning. This is
Hi,
your
Helen.
drive through Cloughjordan cup of tea.
Wow, what a service. Thank you
That's all
very
right. You
much.
need it because
Lovely.
there's ice on the top of the car.
Wow. Can make an ice ball for that.
Okay, you're recording.
Finally,
Is there sound on it? There is.
there should be, yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Rock and roll all the way from Cloughjordan to...
And we'll see you in a few days' time.
Great.
Pat, who manages Cloughjordan Community Farm, waved us off. I like to have a rough plan of the route in my head, but sometimes we like to try some spontaneous detours to enjoy quieter tracks. The map isn't always right though, and often we come to a locked gate or dead ends.
Any further here? Okay. It was a nice try, was it? This must be the straightest road ever.
This year I set off on my trail ride a bit later in the year than usual, and the roads were nice and quiet, with the tourists gone home and everyone back in school. But that also meant that some touristy coffee places had shut down for the season. So we plodded on to Carrick.
Now lads, have a nice lunchtime. I am going to go to the village store. You're pretty. Here you are.
It's always fascinating to see how we, as a little herd, grow very close during our rides. Especially for Henry, any outsider is not worthwhile getting to know, as he tries to live up to his responsibility to keep his women safe.
Now you two, shall we hit the road again? Okay, Henry, be safe, be seen. Come on, let's do some more riding. Now, I'm going to walk along with Henry and Flora
for a little while, just to make it fair, using my legs as well. And we are going along another very, very straight road. There we go. That's the road ahead. Just very straight, like most roads around here, it seems. When we crossed the Little Brosna River, we crossed over into County Offaly. Offaly is one of the Midland counties, which are known for their vast boglands. There's still serious peat cutting going on in some parts. So I just managed to get this field organised for the night for us three. And I just have to sort all this gear, put up the tent, make dinner, find water. At least we got somewhere nice to stay, thanks to Jim, who I met on the road, who asked Michael, who owns this field, and said, yeah, work away, eat the grass, put up the tent. Thank you very much. Much appreciated after a long day. 7 o'clock now, so yeah, it'll be dark in 2 hours. Better get sorted. Ooh, feeling better now, Henry. Yeah. Travelling on my own with the horses every year is a unique and intense experience, and there's nothing quite like listening to the munching of the horses around the tent in the darkness of the night. Day 2 brings us into Bannagher and across the River Shannon into County Galway. Then along west of the Shannon towards Portumna, and swerving off west through Killaimer and down to Flowerhill. Morning of the second day. I'm in the middle of packing up again for the last, hour or so. We are right next to a junction, and which is nice and central, but also very busy, and almost every car stops for chat. So we didn't get very far yet with our packing. Plus somebody just dropped off half a bucket of oats for the horses, so it might take them a while to eat those, and then we'll travel extra fast after that, I'd say. This year I got the loan of a small portable scale, thanks Mike, which makes it much easier to get evenly weighed saddlebags. Any small difference in weight results in the bag sliding to one side, which is uncomfortable for the horse. Unevenly packed bags just means juggling contents around until they are more even, time-consuming, but very worthwhile for a comfortable riding day. Firstly, we had to pass the stone crusher of the Bannagher precast concrete factory. Henry did not like that noise at all. And I put away my camera to have my hands free to keep us all calm. So we had a small break in Bannagher to cool our nerves and charge the phone. After previous experiences on trail rides, I feel it's ever so important for me to have the phone working at all times, just in case. Tom, there's Tom. You're one of our followers.
One of our followers.
Yeah,
one of your
and I
subscribers.
met you in
Bannagher.
Bannagher town, the
County
famous
Offaly.
place. Just at
And
the
this is Johnny McAvoy,
Johnny McAvoy.
Yeah,
Is he
famous
famous
musician.
for
singing
the
musician.
musician? Yeah. Okay. And can hang on, it's on recording, so I can say something clever now into the camera.
So which one?
Oh no, it's recording and everything.
There you go.
So just hold it up. So here we are in Bannagher, meeting Tom. And I'm going to cross the Shannon now any minute, over there somewhere. And then are we in Galway then? We are, aren't we? Yeah.
You're in Offaly now, Galway over the bridge.
It's the last few moments in lovely Offaly, and we go into lovely Galway. There you go.
Perfect. In one take. Wow.
we rode along the Shannon, which in most parts is wonderfully wide and calm and unspoiled.
Ooh.
Lunch stop at Meelick Pier, where John, who lives in a houseboat, made us a cup of tea.
This is the boat. Cutting glass. Oh, isn't that a fantastic tree? Look at this, gosh. Packed with apples. Now lads, should we go on? That's the road ahead of us. Oop. It's autumn already, isn't it? Yeah. Oh well. Well, we're on a road trip. Don't know about you guys. Just having a quick bit of dinner, because I bet once I arrive at my final destination I'll be a bit too tired to cook. I'm just going to have some chips. Oh, lovely. And you get your dinner in a little while, just 2 more miles, and we're there. Yeah, it's getting dark slowly. Horses are having their dinner.
For the second night, we arranged to stay at Flowerhill Equestrain Centre, where proprietor Oliver Walsh gave us a generous welcome with a field and haylage for the horses and a spot for my tent, and the use of the staff tea room with a wonderfully warm stove at its heart. On day 3, we went to Portumna, where we crossed the Shannon again and back into County Tipperary. There we went along Loch Derg through Terry Glass and on to Brookfield for the night. We woke to steady rain in the morning. This year I had made sure to pack proper waterproof gear though.
Okay, nearly ready to set off on our 3rd day. To spend the last hour packing up. That's just the time it takes really to pack up all these bags. Okay lads, we made it to Portumna. I am going to go to Cafe Rose now. Just grab a coffee because it's still raining. And Portumna looks a bit bleak, but it's supposed to brighten up later on. So they say. You thirsty, Flora? There's an opportunity to drink. No? You're more fascinated by the boat, really. It is a pretty boat, isn't it?
Portumna, the bridge across the Shannon opens at regular intervals to let boats through. Luckily, we got to cross the river with no hold-ups. It is so wide, it took us several minutes to walk across the bridge.
Now, you didn't like the Shannon water, but you seem to like this particular puddle. Is that good, Henry? Fresh rainwater. So that's where we are headed next. Terry Glass for lunch and Coolborn for the night.
Apart from some social and scenic highlights, riding along with the horses for 30 kilometres or so a day just means steady plodding along onwards. Some might find this monotonous, but for me this makes those rides so enjoyable. The slow travel speed, getting from one place to another with the horses steadily carrying me along. Lunch in Terry Glass. I never quite managed to get all our events filmed, so no footage of the lady whose toe got underneath Flora's hoof and who just kept on smiling, feeding her apples. Or of Flora dragging the bench she was tied on halfway across the lawn.
Finally, I get to write some postcards of beautiful scenery. I hope we get a sunset like this tonight.
Enough water for the horses is a major concern when travelling. Luckily, we passed plenty of puddles, streams, lakes and rivers on this ride. Finally, after an 8-hour day travelling, we reached Brookfield farm where Peter and Ailbhe put us up for the night. On the last day, we headed west, away from Derg and through the rolling Tipperary hills to Borrisokane and then back down to Cloughjordan.
Good morning, guys. Are you waiting for breakfast?
Ailbhe is a beekeeper and candle maker, and she and her father Peter live in this magnificent old Georgian country house.
Ailbhe and Peter, thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure.
And Henry's trying to make the best of the lovely grass here. I hand the camera over to you. There you go.
How do I do it?
It's just on recording.
It's on
so
record.
Just work away. So you're off.
Well, it was lovely to have you.
Come on, turn the movie star.
Last day.
And we're going back to Cloughjordan today.
Yes.
And there you go. You're best friends now.
Oh yeah. I think that we should send off Dad as well. What do you think?
Come on then. Off you go.
Okay.
Bye.
Damp old morning and there's a bit of autumn in the air, so I pulled out my new colourful riding gloves to keep me a bit warmer.
During these last few days, autumn had crept in. A sure sign is the ivy and the hedgerows starting to flower and the berries on the hawthorn and the rose hips turning red, and a few last blackberries in between, and then more and more dried brown leaves along the roadside.
Right, so we made it to Borrisokane. It's only 11 more kilometres to go. So our ride is nearly over. Just having one last rest here. Are you there, Henry? Yeah, resting as well. And one last little morning treat and a cup of coffee just outside the graveyard.
During this ride, we've grown into a great little team again, with Flora and Henry settling into our routine stops. I find it is essential that the horses can be tied up anywhere and learn to make use of these rest breaks in a relaxed and calm way. It makes life on the road easier for them and for me. I was very happy with my new way of packing. It proved to be solid and secure, and we even tried one little trot to put the gear to one final test.
Here we are, back again. Hi lads, we're home.
The horses were very happy to be reunited with their mates Winnie and Daisy at home, and I'm happy for them, but also sad because we did grow close during our ride, and here we are parting at the field gate, taking up our usual lives again. Till next year.